Well, I am so excited to be here with Roberta Wilhelm. She is the executive director of Girls Inc. Roberta, it's so good to see you.
Thank you. Thank you for seeing me, for having me today.
Well, it's that time of year. Lunch for the Girls is coming up, and I'm excited to talk to you about that and the speakers that are going to be there this year. But let's just talk a little bit, kind of bring us up to date with what's happening at Girls Inc. right now.
Sure. So we're wrapping up our summer because school starts next week. We'll be taking a few days for training and cleaning, but the girls are kind of having their last burst of fun here before they head into the school year. We've had a sort of normal-ish summer with a lot of girls doing a lot of different STEM, literacy, library, field trips, you name it. It's been busy.
Yeah, and it's probably for the girls themselves, just excited, just good for them to be back just together and doing things.
Oh, yeah. I think the isolation really weighed heavy on girls, on youth in general, on people, but certainly on young people. And we see the results of that in some of the programming now is to help mitigate what happened during the depths of the COVID isolation.
Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about, I got a question here with my talking point. So how do you know that Girls Inc. works?
Well, there are many different ways, but one way is that we use both data and also just things we observe with our own eyes. So our national office, we're really fortunate that they do longitudinal studies that shows Girls Inc. makes an impact on girls' confidence in science, in math, in reading, in their reducing risky behavior. So they're less likely to have unprotected sex or to drive without a seatbelt, you know, those sorts of things. So across a whole multitude of domains, girls who experience the Girls Inc. programming do better than those who do not, which is a great thing to know. But then our own eyes tell us. I've been at Girls Inc. 19 years. The girls who are in kindergarten are in grad school or have careers, and watching them graduate and tell you, I'm now a vet tech, I'm now a nurse, I'm a doctor, I'm a pharmacist, I'm a special ed teacher. There's no better outcome than that. And my own eyes and my own heart tell me that, this is the kind of result you would want for your own children.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, like I had mentioned, Lunch for the Girls is coming up here on September 1st. And you've got a couple, a pair, a sibling duo that is going to be talking about just their life, a book. I actually was doing some research. I want to read this book. It's called Crazy Stories About Racism. And you know, it's kind of a look at what's happened. I think there's definitely humor in the book about all the crazy things that people do. But let's just talk about these two young ladies, Lacey Lamarr and Amber Ruffin, which I think people may know her. So let's talk a little bit about them.
Yeah, sure. So the book focuses on the crazy things that happened to Lacey, but there's dialogue back and forth in the book, especially like if you get the audiobook, you hear the real sisters going back.
Okay.
So I encourage you to do that. It's funny. And Amber, of course, has her own TV show. She's been a writer for late night comedy. She's a comedian in her own right. And so she has, of course, a humorous view of what is also a serious subject. So it is not to downplay that these are stories about racism. Yes, it's better to laugh than cry, but they do want to share the message of these things that help people learn that these behaviors and actions, these things that people say are inappropriate. Some people who read the book may have said or done those things themselves, and they can learn a bit about why that's not a thing that is acceptable to do. And also just to have their awareness raised that even if it's not in the book, there might be something else. Some of these things are on a spectrum of behaviors and comments that are considered racist.
Yes, absolutely. So they're going to be here for the luncheon on September 1st. Let's just talk about the luncheon. I mean, what year is this for starters?
Gosh, you're asking me that question.
Okay.
I'm not even sure. I think I've been here 19 years and it's been going longer than
Okay.
that. So I think it's like year 23 or something.
Yes. Yeah.
And over the years, we've had such powerhouses as the Archbishop Desmond Tutu, Michelle Obama, Malala, Hillary Clinton, Barack Obama, Billie Jean King,
Yeah.
the Bush twins. I mean, it's been a lineup of amazing speakers.
Yes. And one of the reasons, I mean, let's talk about this luncheon that happens each year. It brings the community together. Again, you have these amazing speakers. Kind of what is the overlying purpose? I mean, we're raising education, awareness, funds for Girls Inc.
All of those things. So it's a great fundraiser. I have to say, every year we get folks who say, I want to be a mentor, I want to volunteer,
Yeah.
Donors, supporters, spreading the message. The girls speak at the luncheon themselves, and there is no better way to tell the story than to let the girls speak on their own behalf. So to hear them talk about their experiences in Eureka or the Bee Club or a book club is really powerful stuff. And that's when folks in the audience can see that it works. I don't even need to tell them, and become hopefully supporters of Girls Inc. for the long haul.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's talk a little bit. So the funds raised, I mean, we hear the girls. I mean, this, again, I've been to this luncheon many times. It's so powerful, but the funds raised, what are some of the programs? I mean, kind of what's the, I don't want to say the hot thing now, but I mean, what's the important piece here?
It's hard to pick one important piece because it's whatever triggers an individual girl to her curiosity and her path towards wanting to know more and do more and maybe explore more in a career. So for some girls, that is STEM. We just interviewed a bunch of graduating seniors yesterday, and a lot of them were interested in STEM careers, in being a veterinarian, being an architect, being a nurse practitioner. They are interested in pursuing that, and so they were very interested that Girls Inc. offered those opportunities and experiences. We offer externships in real businesses where girls can see what a job looks like and maybe decide, is that for them? And sometimes they decide it's not. They think they want to be a vet, and then they say, I can't stand the sight of blood, and I had to comfort dogs coming out of anesthesia instead of be in the operating room, and that's okay too.
Yeah.
For other girls, it's art. Other girls, it's sports. One of the girls yesterday was talking about how she's going to college on a sport scholarship. So she's running track, doing hurdles, which I can't even imagine how hard that sounds. But they have different interests. Some of the girls like gardening or chicken coop or beehives. Other girls are interested in the education kitchen and may consider a career in culinary and look at Metro for their culinary program. So it's hard to pick one. It's whatever sparks that one girl.
Yeah. And that spark makes sometimes all the difference in the world.
Oh, it does.
And it's just, it's amazing. Well, let's go back. Well, have the girls read the book? The girls that are coming?
They are reading the book. They're in the process now, which is really exciting to me. I've seen a couple of them around individually with it, and I know that there's a group of them working on it sort of as a book club. But I love when they are prepared for the guest speakers. So, and they traditionally are. They'll read books by or about Malala or Desmond Tutu. In fact, the year Desmond Tutu was coming, they said, we had President Clinton last year, and this year we have a nobody. And why would we have a nobody? I was like, okay, let's do some reading. Yeah, let's find out. Yeah. He's not a nobody. But it's cool to see them dig into that book.
Yeah. Well, talking a little bit more about the event, again, it is on September 1st. It's a Thursday. How can people buy tickets? Are there still sponsorships? Give us kind of the lowdown on those who want to attend the event.
Sure. So the easiest way, I think, is to access the information through our website, which is girlsinkomaha.org. And there's an event page. And You can learn some of the details both about individual tickets, tables, sponsorships right there. If that doesn't work, give us a call, and especially ask for Miss Shannon, because she knows all things
Mhm.
luncheon and will help you.
Awesome. That's so wonderful. Let's talk a little bit before I let you go. We've got about a minute or so. We have talked about the girls and what works, how you can see things are working. What are some other things? I mean, again, this is like almost the foundation piece that a lot of them get to go out and make their, dreams, or get to go into the world on the
Yeah.
journey of life and be able to be so much more better prepared for it.
So one of the things that I love is when young women will post on social media when they graduate. One of them did recently, who became a vet tech, and she said, "I want to thank my parents and I want to thank Girls Inc." And
Uh,
you're listed right in there as part of that village.
yeah.
We feel it, but here she's acknowledging it and recognizing it. And sometimes I think it's hard to see that as a young person, but they do. And they'll say, Girls Inc. was there for me with a tutor, or with help with scholarship funding, or with, if they're in sports and college equipment and uniforms, whatever it might be. We want them to come to us, and they do. And I think it's really great when they do those shout outs. We for sure see that they see us as that role in their life as well.
Absolutely. Well, Roberta, thank you so much for joining me today. Again, this is always an exciting event, and you do have spectacular speakers every year, because it's kind of different times during the year. A lot of times it depends
Yep.
when the speaker can actually, be in Omaha. So this year it's September 1st. So encourage everybody to get your tickets, because there's a lot of people. I mean, there's like over 1,000 people that typically come.
Well, it depends on the year. The events have ranged from 800 to 3,000, depending
Oh
on
my
the
goodness.
speaker.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah. And also COVID, maybe we don't pack the room as much.
No, absolutely. But excited for this event. So again, thank you so much for joining me, and I look forward to seeing you soon.
Well, thanks for having me.
And folks, we'll be right back. Well, hello, my friends. I'm excited to be here with Jim Hegarty. He is the president and CEO of the Better Business Bureau of the Midwest. So, Jim, thank you for joining me today.
Oh, it's my absolute pleasure. It's awesome to be here. We aren't the entire Midwest, but we're certainly a nice chunk of it. We've had the benefit of expanding over the last 25 years or so into what I guess would be termed as a regional Better Business Bureau, but our headquarters is here in our beloved city of Omaha.
Right. Well, again, I think, before we hit record, you're telling me that it used to just be Omaha, and now you cover 4 states. Is that correct?
Yeah, when I came to work for the Better Business Bureau in 1994, we were the Omaha Better Business Bureau. I think we had somewhere in the neighborhood of 600 members, and I'm not sure all of them were paying their bills. But
Sure.
we've grown now into a bureau of nearly 10,000 members, covering 4 states. We've got offices in South Dakota, Kansas. We serve the whole state of Nebraska, a nice chunk of Iowa. And I think that there'll be greater opportunities for us to have more expansion in the future.
Yeah. Well, we're going to be talking about the 25th anniversary of what is now called the Torch Awards, used to be
Right.
the Integrity Awards. But before we talk about the awards piece, let's just talk about the BBB and what is it? I think people kind of know what it is, but you guys do so much more. The organization does so much more than just kind of
Sure.
find the people that, maybe aren't doing ethical things. That's
Sure.
kind of what people think of. But yeah, I'll let you take it away.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think sometimes people do think of us as the place you call if you're unhappy, to complain about a problematic experience that you've had. I think also people do think of reaching out to us when they're looking for a business that meets our standards,
Yep.
looking for a company that they can trust. So our mission is to be the leader in advancing marketplace trust. And we do that in a variety of ways. I mean, a big thing that everybody's familiar with is our practice of denouncing substandard business practices.
Mhm.
And we've got our sleeves rolled up and we're in the trenches every day, monitoring the marketplace, warning businesses and consumers about problematic business practices that might have impact on them, schemes, scams. But also, we're in the business of creating communities of trustworthy businesses through our accreditation process, so that the consuming public has a resource that they can turn to. They know that if a business is accredited by the BBB, that they've been vetted, they meet our standards. So we're a standard-based membership organization. And then, additional on top of that, we're very committed to celebrating marketplace role models, which is, why we created our Integrity Awards 27 years ago. It's sort of reinvented itself a few times. It's now called the Torch Awards. But the bottom line is it's an opportunity for us on an annual basis to take some time off from the business of managing complaints and warning everybody about the bad actors and the schemes and scams, and setting aside some time to really honor local businesses that have made these extraordinary commitments to doing business the right way. The sort of stuff that's not required, it's out of the box, and it's what really sets them apart from their competitors.
Yeah. Well, let's talk a little bit about the Torch Awards, because that is a big event coming up on September 21st. And like you had mentioned, the awards, it's 27 years, but because of what's been happening over the last, 2 to 3 years, you had to put it on hold. But this year is the 25th celebration. And what are you celebrating?
Yeah, we're celebrating really the evolution of a remarkable event. Like I said, it's an opportunity for us to celebrate businesses that have made this exceptional commitment to doing business the right way. And over the years, we have celebrated a ton of businesses that really are quite remarkable in the way that they conduct themselves. So, it's way beyond what they're legally required to do. It's the kind of stuff that really sets them apart. Many of them are very recognizable. Some of the larger corporations, in fact, most, I think, of our larger companies here in Omaha over the years have been recognized at these events. But I think just as importantly, a lot of smaller businesses that, for many reasons you may not have ever heard of had we not taken the time to shine the light into what it is that they're doing for their customers, for their employees, and the commitments that they've made. And the very first Integrity Awards, I remember being there, and it was in a small salon over at, I think it was maybe the Regency Best Western. It's not even there anymore. And we were in a small salon, and we might have had 25 businesses, attendees show up for our very, very first event. Our last event, I think we were over 800 that were in attendance. We are very committed to bringing in keynote speakers that are universally known, very recognizable, to provide some really meaningful content for everybody that shows up. And I think that if you talk to really anybody that's been to one of our Torch Awards or Integrity Awards over the last 10 years, they will tell you that it is an awesome user experience. And we know there's lots of luncheons, and that's a super competitive business to be in. But we feel that this is really, it's a special event because of what it is that we're there to honor. And that's business done the right way.
Right. Well, let's talk about the speaker for this year's event.
Yeah.
Very notable guy, made a big impact, but I'll let you take it away.
Yeah, so John Carreyrou, right? And if that name doesn't sound familiar, Theranos might sound familiar. Elizabeth Holmes might sound familiar. And over the last year, we've seen Elizabeth Holmes in the news a lot. Her trial was held. She was found guilty. You know, Theranos, as it turns out, was a massive fraud, and probably, I mean, you know, with the exception of perhaps, you know, Bernie Madoff, you know, maybe one of the largest frauds in American history. Lots of people, you know, taken in and taken under by this scheme. So John Carreyrou was the Wall Street Journal investigative reporter that was very, very critical in breaking this story, digging in. Things didn't smell right. They didn't look right. And so he is widely known as being, you know, one of the responsible parties for sort of, you know, pulling the curtain on Theranos. His book Bad Blood is a bestseller, and he is an exceptional presenter. So people that show up for this event, man, they are in for a very special treat. I mean, not only is it our 25th anniversary, and not only are we going to be celebrating some amazing businesses, but I think the takeaway from his talk is going to be really something. And we're going to have some coffee and up close personal opportunities for folks to get up close and personal with him at the event as well. So we are super thrilled. He was not easy to secure. And, you know, with the trial being held this year, and with her being found guilty, the demand for his services have gone up exponentially. So we feel super fortunate to be able to bring him to Omaha and offer this opportunity to the business community.
Well, again, the event's on the 21st of September, and people can, I mean, tickets are ready.
If you go to bbb.org, you come to our website, there's a link right there where folks can connect. And I think that we're probably going to have some information about that. I think we're running some ads in the MBJ.
You are. We're excited
right now. I think I just looked at last week's, and grab your MBJ, open it up, and you can see the information about how you can access the event, purchase tickets. And we are just thrilled to fill that room and get back to doing this. I mean, we're in our 27th year, celebrating our 25th anniversary, because we've all been in the twilight zone for 2 years.
Right.
So it's so awesome, isn't it? Just to have a chance to get back together again. I know that I'm enjoying that. And we are just thrilled to get back into the room with the businesses that provide so much support to us and make it possible for us to do this work.
And this is outside of the event.
Sure.
So with the BBB and the last couple of years and everything going on, did your organization, or did people reaching out to you? I mean, did that change at all? Was that different with what was required, you know, what was required of you, or was it still kind of, I mean, I don't want to say business as usual, but was there something there that how did you guys weather, if you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get it. So activity to our site increased unbelievably. So many schemes, so many scams connected to COVID. So many schemes and scams connected to PPP loans. I mean, you name it. And offshore scammers were finding ways to leverage the pandemic and the crisis that we were experiencing here in our country to benefit themselves. So we were really pushed and stretched to be responsive to that. And I am so proud, not just of our bureau, but the whole bureau system for stepping up, adapting. We had to send all of our people home, just like everybody had to send all of their people home. We had to do that very quickly. We didn't have a lot of time to be prepared for that. And the way in which our staff has responded to working in remote environments and continued to be available to the consuming public at a time when we were probably needed more than ever. Super excited about that. And I'm happy to report that the BBB system itself has just never been stronger. Our relevance is growing. It's a very different landscape now. I mean, we have, I guess, what you would sort of think of as competitors where we didn't have that before, whether it's review sites or all sorts of ways and all sorts of people claiming to be able to point you in the direction of a trustworthy business. We feel that we're the most experienced at that. And we feel that because of the standard-based nature of the way in which we hold businesses accountable, that we're a source of reliability and trust that people can really count on. So overall, we've weathered the storm. I hope the storm is over. Fingers crossed.
I know. Yes,
we're all hopeful for that, right? But this business community that we're here, I mean, we're headquartered in Omaha. We serve a large region, but we feel so blessed to be in this city. And this could have been a time when a lot of businesses that supported us said, listen, things are tight. We've got to pull the plug. We're not going to be able to do that. Our retention has never been higher. So the rate of renewal for businesses that support us has never been higher than it's been over the last 2 years. And so, I mean, we won't ever be able to find a way to adequately thank the Omaha business community for supporting us through very tough times. But I think they understand that our work's important, and they want a healthy, vital, Better Business Bureau serving this market.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got about 30 seconds left. So for businesses looking to be accredited, looking for that, that recognition and wanting that stronghold on their business so people can find them. Sure. What do they do?
Yeah, just come to bbb.org. There's an opportunity to learn more about accreditation. You can learn more about applying for our awards. All the information that you would ever need about us is there. And if that doesn't work, Google us and give us a call. We've got folks that actually answer telephones. So we're not too tough to reach. And we'll look forward to answering any questions that we can if anybody wants to reach out.
Well, Jim, thank you so much for joining me today. Thanks for the information. I mean, great interview. And thank you for everything that you do, that your team does, that the Bureau does, just, overall. It's very amazing and very necessary. So I just personally want to thank you.
Well, listen, and we feel the same way. We're a mutual admiration society. We're grateful for the Business Journal for the work that you've hung in there with, and that we continue. Every Friday I get that publication, and I look forward to seeing it. So thank you.
Yeah. All right. Well, Jim, we'll see you on the 21st. Encourage everybody to go to the website, get these tickets. It's going to be an amazing luncheon, speaker, and just a huge celebration. So thanks so much.
Awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome.